They want you to believe that relief only comes in a plastic bottle. But before the pharmacy existed, we didn't use synthetic chemicals. We used the earth. Modern pills just mask the pain by shutting down your body's natural functions. The ancient apothecary fixed the broken mechanism. Today, we walk back into the woods to reclaim that power. We are uncovering the roots and barks that healed emperors and soldiers. From the root that knits your stomach lining to the leaf that cools the acid, it is time to take back control. Let's explore the ancient herbs our ancestors used to survive. Number 1. Ginger. When a burning sensation starts creeping up your throat, most people reach for cold water, but the ancients reached for heat to fight fire. Meet ginger, the rhizome that has been the gold standard for digestive distress for over 5,000 years. In the ancient world, sailors and pregnant women did not have pills for nausea or indigestion. They carried this knotted root. They understood something modern science has only recently confirmed. They didn't use it because it tasted sharp. They used it because it forced the stomach to empty. When food sits too long, it ferments and burns. Ginger commands the stomach to move that food forward. It works by stimulating the muscles of your intestines, acting like a traffic controller that clears the jam. Think of it as a master key that unlocks the valve at the bottom of your stomach, allowing acid and food to flow down where they belong, rather than up into your throat. Yet, we are told to buy antacids that merely neutralize the burn without fixing the flow. Ginger grows easily, often right in your garden, ready to serve. It is the first line of defense, a warming remedy that proves nature understood kinetic energy long before we built machines. Though ginger fixes the problem of heartburn, taking it too much could cause the actual heartburn itself. While ginger pushes the food downward to clear the path, this next remedy works to patch the damage left behind. Number 2. Licorice Root. It is the soothing balm that doctors quietly respect but rarely prescribe. It's a serious medicinal tool that acts as a bandage for your insides. Great armies of the past used this root not for its sweetness, but for its ability to quench thirst and soothe the tissues of the throat and stomach. They carried it on long marches when water was scarce and dust coated their lungs. They knew that chewing on this fiber created a protective layer that water alone could not provide. It works by increasing the production of mucin, a substance that protects the lining of your stomach from its own acid. Imagine your stomach wall has a scratch, and the acid is salt in that wound. Licorice root coats that scratch with a thick, soothing gel, allowing the tissue underneath to finally heal. It effectively buys your body time to repair itself. We often ignore it because of the candy association, but the raw root is a powerhouse. It is nature's way of insulating you from your own digestive fire, offering a shield that no synthetic tablet can replicate. If licorice provides a shield for the stomach, our next ally focuses on coating the entire esophageal tract to stop the burn instantly. Number 3. Slippery elm. It's the tree bark that Native Americans used as a survival food and a master healer for all things internal. It is the ultimate demulcent, which simply means it relieves irritation by forming a film. When food was scarce, or when a warrior had a stomach too weak to handle solids, this bark was the answer. It wasn't just medicine, it was a gentle, liquid meal that could sustain life when nothing else would stay down. They didn't use it for superstition. They used it because when you mixed it with water, it became a slick, soothing gel that physically coated the throat. The way it works is both mechanical and beautiful. When this powdered bark touches water, it expands into a mucilage. It acts like a liquid bandage. Imagine pouring a cooling, thick layer of aloe vera over a sunburn, but on the inside of your burning esophagus. It covers the raw, red tissue and prevents the rising acid from making contact. It is simple, effective, and purely physical. Yet, we have replaced this natural wonder with liquids that contain aluminum, like Malanta. This tree offers a gentle, safe barrier that acts immediately, proving that the forest often holds the most sophisticated solutions for our modern pain. While slippery elm coats the throat, this next herb goes deeper to hydrate and repair the driest, most irritated tissues of the stomach. Number 4. Marshmallow Root. Before it became a sugary puff roasted over a campfire, it was a revered medicine used by the Egyptians and Greeks. This is the heavy lifter for chronic dryness and inflammation in the digestive tract. In ancient times, this herb was the essential cure for those suffering from what they called hot ailments. If a stomach was angry, red, and burning, the physician reached for the mallow. They didn't have cameras to see the ulcers, but they saw the results. The pain stopped and the heat faded. They used it because it brought moisture back to places that had been scorched by illness or poor diet. It works by holding water and creating a soft, soothing environment where cells can regenerate. Think of it as a hydration system for your stomach lining. If your stomach lining is like cracked, dry earth, Marshmallow Root is the gentle rain that softens the soil and makes it whole again. It signals the body to repair the mucous membranes that protect you from acid. We traded this powerful root for sugary imitations, forgetting that the original herb was never meant for dessert. It was meant to heal the very tissue that processes our food. Once the tissues are soothed and hydrated, we must address the pressure that causes the pain in the first place. Number 5. Fennel. It's the seed that Roman soldiers chewed to suppress hunger and settle the stomach before battle. It is the master of gas relief and the enemy of bloating. You might know it as a spice, but your ancestors knew it as a necessity. In the medieval era, digestion was often a dangerous game due to spoilage. People didn't chew these seeds for the nice taste. They chewed them to stop the cramping that came after a heavy meal. They observed that even snakes would rub against the fennel herb after shedding their skin to restore their sight and strength. This herb restores order to the body. It works because the oils inside the seed force the smooth muscles of the intestines to relax. It acts like a pressure release valve. When your stomach is tight, rigid, and full of trapped gas, fennel tells those muscles to let go. The grip loosens, the gas dissipates, and the pain vanishes. It is a carminative, a fancy word for a herb that expels wind. While modern medicine sells you pills like Gas X to simply break up gas bubbles, this seed prevents the tension that traps them. It grows wild on roadsides, a forgotten treasure waiting to bring you relief. While fennel releases the physical pressure of gas, this next herb addresses the nervous tension that often locks our stomachs in knots. Number 6. Chamomile. This flower has been the universal comforter since the time of the pharaohs. We often dismiss this as a gentle bedtime tea for children or the elderly, but that is a mistake. It is a potent anti-inflammatory that targets the stomach-brain connection with precision. Historically, this was the primary remedy for nervous stomachs. The ancients understood that stress and digestion were inextricably linked. When a merchant was fraught with worry and their digestion halted, the healer brewed these flowers. They didn't use it just to make the patient sleep. They used it to stop the cramps that stress was causing deep in the digestive tract. It works by delivering oils like bisabolol directly to the irritated lining, while simultaneously calming the vagus nerve, which connects your brain to your stomach. Think of it as a lullaby for your digestive system. When your stomach is churning from anxiety, chamomile sends a chemical signal to the tissues to relax and cool down. It reduces the inflammation that causes acid to rise, effectively turning off the panic alarm in your gut. We call it weak because it is common, but its gentleness is its strength. It does not force the body into submission. It persuades it to return to a state of calm. If chamomile calms the nerves, this next herb tackles the acid itself with a chemistry so effective it changed pharmaceutical history. Number 7. Meadowsweet. This is the herb that gave us the actual blueprint for aspirin. It is nature's original antacid, standing tall and white in damp meadows, ready to neutralize the fire in your chest with a complexity labs cannot match. Druids held this herb sacred, and for good reason. It was the primary remedy for an acidic, burning stomach long before synthetic pills existed. They didn't know about salicylic acid, but they knew that a brew of these flowers stopped the burning instantly. They used it because it worked consistently, balancing the fluids in the stomach without shutting down digestion completely or thinning the blood dangerously. It possesses a built-in safety system that modern medicine stripped away. Inside this flower is the same power found in aspirin, but it is wrapped in natural protectors that coat your stomach instead of attacking it. It acts like a fire extinguisher that also repairs the burnt wood. The synthetic pill gives you the chemical in harsh isolation, which is why it can burn a hole in your gut. But the herb gives you the complete package, stopping the pain while protecting the tissue. We extracted the active ingredient and lost the balance, but the Meadowsweet remains, waiting in the wild, a better chemist than any we have in a lab. But where Meadowsweet balances the acid chemistry, our next ally provides a literal cooling bath for the entire digestive tract. Number 8. Aloe Vera. It's known as the herb of immortality in ancient Egypt. You likely know it for soothing sunburns on your skin, but its true power lies in what it does when you take it internally. It is the ultimate coolant for a system on fire. Generations of healers kept this herb in pots near the kitchen, not for decoration, but for emergency aid. When a stomach was raw from spicy food, alcohol, or illness, the clear gel inside these thick leaves was the cure. They didn't rely on it because it was trendy in a health magazine. They relied on it because it accelerated healing faster than anything else they had. It works by aggressively regulating the acid to base balance in your stomach and coating the lining. Imagine your stomach is a pot of boiling water bubbling over. Aloe Vera turns down the heat on the burner instantly. It reduces the acidity and promotes the growth of healthy bacteria. It acts as a cellular regenerator, signaling the damaged tissue to rebuild itself rapidly. We often buy expensive probiotic drinks with vague promises, yet this herb offers a prebiotic foundation that has worked for millennia. It survives in the harshest, hottest deserts, and when consumed, it passes that resilience on to you. Aloe cools the fire. This next root ensures the fire burns correctly to digest your food. Number 9. Angelica. It's often called the root of the Holy Ghost or angel's fishing rod. It was believed to cure everything from a simple stomachache to deadly poison 500 years ago, but its true mastery is in digestion. This is a bitter tonic that wakes up a lazy stomach. In the cold monasteries of Europe, monks brewed this root into liqueurs, not for recreation, but for medicinal digestion after heavy, fatty meals. They understood that digestion requires energy. If the stomach is cold and sluggish, food rots instead of digesting. They used Angelica to stoke the digestive fire without letting it rage out of control into heartburn. It works by stimulating the production of digestive juices and bile before the food even hits the stomach. Think of it as the starter fluid for your digestive engine. When you feel that heavy, a rock-like sensation after eating, it is because your stomach lacks the power to break down the meal. Angelica provides that spark. It tightens the sphincter at the top of the stomach to keep acid down while pushing the food forward. We have largely forgotten the importance of bitters in our diet, trading them for sugar. But this root remains, waiting to remind your body how to process fuel efficiently. While Angelica stimulates the juices, this next herb specifically targets the cramping that comes from a chaotic lifestyle. Number 10. Lemon Balm. It's a member of the mint family that was dedicated to the goddess Diana. It is the great regulator, used for centuries to gladden the heart and settle the stomach when stress makes eating impossible. Medieval herbalists claimed this herb could drive away deep sadness, but they also prescribed it for gripping pains in the belly. They saw that when the mind was dark or anxious, the stomach was tight. They didn't separate mental health from physical health. They used lemon balm to sever the link between emotional distress and physical pain, treating the person as a whole. It acts as a mild sedative for the stomach muscles specifically. If your stomach is clenching and unclenching like a fist due to stress, lemon balm gently pries the fingers open. It prevents the smooth muscle spasms that push acid up the throat. It is antiviral and antibacterial, cleaning the environment while it calms the motion. We often overlook it as a simple garden weed, but it contains a complex profile of terpenes that modern science is just beginning to understand. It grows aggressively in our gardens, spreading fast, almost as if it knows how much we need it in this stressful age. If lemon balm relaxes the muscle, this next root attacks the inflammation that makes every meal painful. Number 11. Turmeric. It's the golden root of Ayurveda. While it is a trendy flavor in coffee shops now, it was the antibiotic and anti-inflammatory of the ancient East for 4,000 years. It is the deep cleaner for an inflamed system that has been fighting acid for too long. Ancient healers applied this to wounds and stirred it into warm milk for internal injuries. They didn't know what cytokines were, but they knew that this yellow powder stopped the swelling and the heat. They used it because it turned a red, angry digestive tract into a calm, functioning system. It was the daily maintenance for the body, not just a reaction to pain. The active compound. Curcumin intercepts inflammation signals at a molecular level. It acts like a maintenance crew for your stomach lining, sweeping away the irritation that causes heartburn. Instead of just blocking acid, it heals the tissue that the acid has damaged. It strengthens the mucus barrier, making your stomach more resilient to future meals. We treat it as a curry spice, ignoring that it is a profound medicine capable of remodeling tissue. It stains everything it touches, leaving a golden mark that reminds us of its potency. It demands to be seen, and it demands to be used for healing. Now, we must address a paradox. While turmeric heals inflammation, this next herb fixes the low acid that actually causes the burn. Number 12. Gentian. It's nicknamed the bitter king of digestive herbs. It seems contradictory, but often heartburn is caused by too little acid, not too much. This root is the corrective force that restores the natural balance. For centuries, mountain cultures used this intensely bitter root to stimulate digestion before a meal. They didn't have the luxury of selective appetites. They needed to digest whatever they caught or grew. They used gentian because it alerted the body that food was coming. It prepared the terrain so that nothing would sit and ferment. It works by hitting the bitter receptors on your tongue, which immediately sends a signal via the vagus nerve to your stomach. Think of it as the drill sergeant that wakes up the troops. If your stomach is weak, the valve at the top stays open and acid splashes up. Gentian strengthens the entire digestive process, ensuring that the valve closes tight. We have bred bitterness out of our modern vegetables, creating a sweet, bland diet that leaves our digestion weak and confused. Gentian restores the challenge that makes your stomach strong. It is the flavor of function, and it is the flavor of health. Having strengthened the acid with gentian, we turn to this humble seed to settle the chaos that follows a bad meal. Number 13. Dill. It's often referred to as the soothing herb, found in Egyptian tombs, and mentioned in the oldest medical texts. It is the gentle giant of digestive care, safe enough for babies crying from stomach pain, but strong enough for full-grown adults. It is the ultimate neutralizer of fermentation. In the ancient banquet halls, dill was passed around to prevent the hiccups and indigestion that came from excess. Here, the word dill comes from the Norse word dilla, meaning to soothe or to lull. They didn't garnish their food with it for the look. They cooked with it because it prevented the food from turning into gas in the stomach. It works by breaking down the bubbles of gas that form when food ferments in the stomach. Acts like a defoaming agent. When your stomach feels like a shaken soda bottle, dill settles the fizz instantly. It is rich in mineral salts and oils that stop the bacteria from producing gas in the first place. We usually only see this herb floating in a jar of pickles, but that is not an accident. Pickles are simply cucumbers, which are notoriously hard to digest and often cause gas. Our ancestors added dill to the jar to act as the antidote. It helps your stomach break down the tough vegetable. It was never just a flavor. It was a necessary tool for digestion. It is time to stop treating it like a decoration and start using it as the medicine it truly is. While dill handles the gas, this next herb handles the sharp pain of cramping with surprising power. Number 14. Catnip. Ignore the toy mouse you are picturing. This is a serious medicinal herb that was a staple tea in Europe long before tea leaves arrived from China. It is a potent antispasmodic designed for the human stomach. In the old cottages, this was a necessity for parents and elders. If a child had a stomach ache or an elder had severe cramping, catnip was the brew of choice. We often laugh at this herb because of how it affects animals, making them hyperactive and wild. But on the human body, it does the exact opposite. It does not excite the nerves. It puts them to sleep. They used it because it brought a deep, restorative calm to the abdomen that nothing else could touch. It works by sedating the nerves in the intestines that trigger painful contractions. If your heartburn is triggered by your stomach twisting and turning in pain, catnip stops the motion. It acts like a warm hand placed on a cramping belly. It encourages the flow of bile and relieves the pressure in the upper stomach. We have mocked this herb, turning it into a joke for pets, while forgetting it kept our ancestors comfortable for generations. It grows wild and free, offering relief that costs nothing but a moment to harvest. It is a powerful sedative for the stomach that we have foolishly laughed away. Finally, to ensure long-term balance after the immediate pain is gone, we look to a root that cleans the blood. Number 15, Yellow Dock. It's the poor man's ginseng, a weed that thrives in the cracks of the pavement, offering powerful liver and digestive support. It is the ultimate scavenger of toxins that bog down your digestion. Native American tribes and early settlers used this root as a spring tonic to wake up the body after a long winter of heavy, preserved foods. They didn't see it as a nuisance weed. They saw it as a necessary cleanse. They used it to flush the system and correct the acidity of the stomach from the inside out. It works by stimulating the liver to process toxins and helping the stomach absorb nutrients effectively. Think of it as the garbage collector for your digestive system. It binds to the waste and clears it out, preventing the backup that leads to heartburn. It balances the acid levels, ensuring they are high enough to digest, but not high enough to burn. We spray poison on it to keep our lawns green, killing the very thing that could heal our gut. It is persistent, resilient, and waiting for you to recognize its worth. It is the final step in reclaiming a digestion that works without pills. The pharmacy of the future is not a sterile lab. It is the garden that we left behind. These 15 herbs are not just alternatives. They are the original standards. They do not mask your symptoms for a few hours. They invite your body to remember how to function. They build the lining, calm the nerve, and stoke the fire. Modern day turned good health to something you buy. But nature proves that health is something you grow, harvest, and brew. The next time you feel the burn in your chest, do not reach for the chalky tablet that suppresses the symptom. Reach for the root that resolves the problem. If you want to reclaim more of this forgotten knowledge, subscribe to this channel so we can learn together, and tell me in the comments below, which of these ancient remedies have you used? Or which one will you herb this year?